right. Hello, everyone out there. I always like to say good morning, but you know what? In some parts of the world, it is not morning. So, hello there. I have a question for you. In the past year, how many of your goals have you accomplished? Don't give away the answer. Don't answer yet. But we're going to talk about that today on episode 40 of the Coffee with Rhonda show. And we're going to talk about, why are goals so darn hard to achieve? Let's get started.
Welcome to the Coffee with Rhonda show, where you are entering the stress-free leadership zone.
What's in your cup?
All right, so welcome to another episode of the Coffee with Rhonda show. We're super excited that you're here and you're back with us. And today on the show, we're going to talk about those darn elusive goals. And I have an amazing panel that's going to be joining me for the discussion. So I'm so excited to be here. So before we move on, you guys know how this goes. We got a few housekeeping items to cover. So number one, if you're out there watching, tell us your name, tell us where you're watching from, and don't forget to tell us what's in your cup. Also, I have a big, huge ask. Don't forget to like and share the video, audio, podcast, wherever you're listening. Like it and share it because there is someone out there in your life that needs to hear this information also. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, they've got those little bells. You got to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then finally on podcast, we love 5-star reviews. So my name is Rhonda Y. Williams, and I am your host for the show, and I am a recovering stressed out leader. That's right. That's me. And what I do today is I help leaders and entrepreneurs decide that it is time to stop the madness and shift into the position where they are high-performing, stress-free leaders. So if you want any more information about that, you can visit my website at thestressfreeleaders.net. And now I'm going to move on. And before I do, I got to tell you all, I have my favorite cup. You know, every time I have this cup, I feel like roar, right? I feel all animal like a little bit. And so I've got decaffeinated coffee in my cup today with almond milk and ginger. So that's what's in my cup. So let's move on to our panel. I'm actually going to start with our guest today. Really excited to have him on. Tell Richard, say good morning to the folks out there. Tell us a little bit about you, and don't forget to tell us what you got in your cup.
Okay. Good morning. First, I'll say I have coffee in my cup. I started to drink coffee maybe too much right now. But just a little bit about me. I'm from Jamaica originally, and I was one of those people, growing up who wasn't supposed to be anything. But sometimes when you're in poverty, people look at you based on your immediate environment. And for a long time, I believed what they were telling me. I went through high school with the same mindset, barely make it. I even got an opportunity to go to college in Jamaica. But I like to tell people that I went to college on grace, because when, God sees something in you, He put the right people in your environment, to help you to take you to that next level. So I went to college, literally see my way through. Didn't get a job as a teacher because I went for physical education. And after that, I went back home to my community. Someone thought I was a police officer. And believe it or not, I wasn't thinking about being a police officer. But I went and took the test the following day. I barely make it. Again, God put the right people in the right space every time. And so I joined the police force. It's a great experience. And as I told Rhonda earlier, I would go back. If I should start my life over, I would join the police force again. It was a great experience. It gave me an opportunity to be a good role model and a positive example. And from there, I got a scholarship to the United States. And from there, things change. Maybe, I don't know if it's the environment, but things change. I started to do well academically. I became the top student on campus. So coming from someone who didn't pass any subject to go to high school, to become the top student on campus with the highest GPA as a student athlete, and from there things just take off. Graduated in 3 years, and finished my master's in 1 year. And, then I went on to publish a few books and stuff like that. And, went on to start teaching and fell in love with teaching because it wasn't something on my list of things to do. And, then I started my doctoral degree, like 2 semesters away from completing.
Congratulations.
So, thank you.
Very cool. So we will soon be talking to Dr. Cross, y'all.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. We're really excited to have you here. So let's move on to our amazing co-host, Miss Roz Jones. Start with you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you got in your cup.
Well, let me start what I have in my cup first. Hi, I'm Roz. Hadn't seen you guys since last week. Hope you had a good week. In my cup, I have let me see. I have peppermint tea with lemon. And my cup this month is dedicated to caregivers. As you know, I'm the owner and CEO of Jacksonville's Best Caregivers, where we provide 4 levels of specialized care here in the sunny state of Jacksonville, Florida. We do sitter, homemaker, companion, home health aide, and certified nursing assistant. You know my mantra: when you can't do it all,
give her
a call.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Roz. And Marie, good evening, good night to you out there. Tell them a little bit about
good morning to you guys. It's good evening for me. It's actually good morning now because it's past midnight. So it's Sunday morning. So good morning to me. You remember me. I'm Mireille, based in Perth in Australia. I'm the greatness engineer, and I'm focused right now through the Mireille Telekima Global Leadership Organization, focusing on helping people to become the best version of themselves and understand that, they have greatness inside of them and they should step into their greatness and leave nothing on the table of life. And my background is in engineering. I'm an engineer by background, but as you can see, I've been able to shift in different directions. But for the sake of this show, it's the greatness engineer.
Awesome.
And I have my cup, and it's green tea today. And so I'm going to enjoy it before going to bed later on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marie. So I'm really excited. So before we move on, in this show, we love our comments. So my sister is out there watching. Hello, Regina. Good morning to you. She's in San Antonio, Texas. Thank you for tuning in. And then we also have Michael out there who's tuning in from Russia. Hey, Michael, how are you? It's good to see you also. Rock 'em, girl. Look at you. You get me all excited and motivated, Michael. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, as we talk about this show, I was sharing with the panel that a show like this about goals tends to cause you to look in the mirror just a little bit, right? So where are you with your goals and what's going on? So one of the reasons this conversation is important to me is because I do a lot of work around with leaders and helping them become stress-free. And I can tell you, there's nothing more stressful than setting a goal and not achieving it over and over and over. Okay, I'm going to set it again. Oh, darn, I missed it again. Okay, this time I'm really going to do it. Oh, shoot, I didn't make it this time, right? So we're going to talk about that whole thing. And primarily, why are goals so darn hard to achieve? And how do we fix that? Right? How do we get ourselves to the next level in terms of setting goals? So I want to start there. And I want to set the context a little bit with this conversation. As I was going through and thinking about goals, there were some statistics out there that really are quite surprising. And when you think about goals and setting goals, it's not easy. Some of us do a little bit better job than others, but you know what? For the most part, we just don't do a really good job with setting goals. And so the question for all of us is, do we want to become a statistic, right? Do we want to become a part of these statistics that basically say, you know what, if you set that goal, you're probably not going to make it. So let me share this statistic for you, and then I'll get you all to react to these numbers and why goals are so darn hard to achieve. So I'll share this on the screen now. So when it comes to goals, the research and the studies out there say that approximately 80% of people never set goals for themselves. And then of that 20% that do, roughly 70% of them don't achieve the goals that they set. So when they package it all up together, they say only approximately 8% of us actually achieve our goals. 8, that's the number 8, right? 8% of us, they estimate, actually achieve the goals that we set. So I don't know about all of you, but that's a pretty darn stunning number. Especially for a society and a world that says that goals are everything, right? You've got to set goals. So why are goals so hard for us to achieve? And Richard, you're a bit of an expert in goals, so I'm going to come to you last on this one. So Roz, why are goals so darn hard to achieve?
I think goals are so hard to achieve is because we take and put a time limit on everything. We put like hard timelines, and sometimes instead of putting a hard timeline, just finish it when I can finish it. Now, some things do require a timeline. Don't get me wrong. If there's an expectation for a book, or you have to get some type of medical treatment, whatever it is. Sometimes there is goals according to the situation, but sometimes, for me, when I set a goal, and if I don't make it, then I feel like a failure. So I should have a goal, but to me, the timeline has to be adjusted, or make the timeline realistic, because sometimes when we don't achieve it within that time, emotionally, what does that do to us? So sometimes we put too much expectation on ourselves, and then we live through, like we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, we live through other people's expectations of us on when we're supposed to finish. Just like what Dr. Cross says, someone wanted him to go to high school at a certain time, someone wanted him to go to college at a certain time and to finish this. Maybe my process is different than your process, and I may need a little extra time to finish college. Some people do it in 5 years, some do it in 10, but you still achieve the goals that you want to achieve. You're not any less because you finished it, in a longer period of time.
Right.
Some of us just need more time to get through the process to get to the goal.
Wow. Thank you, Roz. And, it is something that all goals are individualized and unique to us. And it's important for us to get that. So, Marae, why are goals so darn hard to achieve? Why are researchers finding that approximately only 8% of us actually achieve our goals?
Yeah, the statistics are actually quite scary. I mean, I didn't realize it was that low. But I think for me, it's something deeper than that. It's just that, when you set goals, you are required to change, and change is very scary. And so some people set goals, but they don't realize the extent to which they have to change. And when they realize it, they just don't want to be, get out of their comfort zone. So they just want to repeat and do the same. And they obviously don't accomplish their goal. So I think there's also the fact that, we set goals, but we don't really realize, what is going to require, the change that, those goals are going to require. And by the time, we look at it, we don't do anything, and then we don't achieve those goals. And I think that's one aspect. And I agree as well with Rose, setting goals based on what people want to see in your life, or just to look good, in front of a certain audience, or in front of your parents or your friends or whoever you want to get the approval from. So I think that's, those key aspects are really one of, what I see, as a key reason not to be able to achieve our goals.
Awesome. Thank you, Marae. I absolutely think that plays a factor because change is required. So distinguished voices out there, and he's sending us love with all kinds of little fruits and happy faces. So thank you so much. You're kind of making me hungry with all those little pieces of fruit. So Richard, talk to us a little bit. How come goals are so darn hard for us to achieve when we are all excited when we set them, right? We get all excited, rah, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days this week. What's the problem with those goals?
Well, as Roz and Muriel said, we set goals. Yes, we want to have a timeline, of course. But as Muriel said, you have to realize that you have to change. And if you are not willing to change, it's going to be hard for you to achieve the goal. And goals are not easy, as they have said. If it was easy, everybody would do it. So, being that you have to change, being that you have to do things differently, you have to decide that, am I going to stick to the plan to make sure I finish the goal? And I'm not so much into like specific goals. I've never really followed that theme, smart goals and stuff like that. I set the goal and then I work towards it. I have goals that I haven't achieved because one of my goals is to empower 1 million Black male students. So if I don't achieve it this year, I'm going to put it again out there for my goal. But there are goals that I've set for myself that I didn't even know that I could, but I disciplined myself enough to apply myself to it. So this year I decided that I was going to write 8 books, right? I didn't know how I was going to write it. I've never done it before, but I realized I have a theme of, a procedure. So I followed that procedure. And every month I was able to write between 15,000 to 20,000 words. And plus I was writing elsewhere. So it's to discipline yourself enough because I have to stay up longer. Right. I have to get up earlier. Are you willing to do those things, for the goals that you set for yourself? And it's not only, for writing. But for me, I believe I was already disciplined enough being an athlete. So I transferred that discipline from being an athlete to everything that I do. So the skills that we have, they are transferable. So we just have to realize if I'm good at doing something right here, I can actually transfer that characteristics over here and apply.
Wow.
It still's not that easy, but you have to go through the process because as I like to tell people, I didn't get my scholarship until 6 years after high school. A lot of people told me to stop training. That takes a lot of discipline, but I wanted that scholarship, even though at one point I started to doubt it was possible. But I kept training and I kept training for 6 years. And eventually, I was able to get the scholarship.
Wow.
So setting goals, you have to go the extra mile. You have to be disciplined for one. And if you are a person that not able to do things on your own, find an accountability partner, someone who you respect, not just anyone, but someone who you respect. You're going to do what you say you're going to do if that person holds you accountable. So, you
mentioned something, Richard, and I want to build on this for a second because you mentioned a key piece in there that I think is really important, and that is confidence or belief in yourself. And so I want to talk about that for a moment because what role does that play in whether or not, and before we do that, Dr. Carlene is out there and joined us. Hi, Dr. Carlene. How are you? So great to see you this morning. And then we have her say, she says, no goals, no accomplishments to acknowledge, right? And how does that make you feel? Wow. And so as we go through this process, what role does confidence play? And Roz, I'll come to you first. What role does confidence and belief play in whether or not you achieve your goal?
You have to have a really good foundation to me with your beliefs. You have to have something, sustainable to stand on. So your beliefs, your foundation helps your confidence. Now, if you have, as Dr. Ross and Mariah, all of us have said, if you have the wrong people around you, if you don't have the right accountability partners around you, then your belief system is, you're going to kind of teeter-totter because then you'll start to doubt yourself, who you are. I can't do it. But if you have a good accountability partner, if you have someone that is, have their foot on your neck, then you know that you're going to achieve this. But if you have someone that's always saying, well, maybe you need to wait, or like they've done with Dr. Cross and the rest of us, well, try something else. From high school, you didn't go on to college. But again, you have to invest in yourself and your own confidence. One of the ladies that was on our previous show, she said, you cannot give from overwhelmed. You can only give from overflow. And so, and the reason why I'm saying that is that our confidence, we cannot give, we cannot produce if we don't have some type of level of confidence, some type of level of faith that will hold our feet to the ground. So we have to have the confidence. We have to have that base. We have to have something that's going to allow us to springboard into, our goals, into our next level.
Mhm.
So we got to have that. We got to have that.
So Roz, if we need that foundation and that springboard, so in one of my books, probably 2 books ago, I wrote about confidence, and confidence is generated from experience and success, and what you see goes well. It's almost like a bank, right? And so you're making deposits. Each success, you deposit a little bit more, and so you see your confidence account begin to grow. So, but the question for me, Marae, is if you never set goals and you're not, right, because they said 80% of people don't even set goals. So if you're not setting goals, then I'm not sure where that darn confidence is going to come from, right? And you might find yourself in a perpetual state of feeling like you can't do things because you're not really doing what it takes to gain that experience.
Because, if you don't set goals, you don't have control on anything, because like we said, anybody can come and, impose their goals on you. And by the time you realize, you're just not happy. You just don't amount to anything. So you really and I come back to having a strong why, understand, who you are and what you're trying to accomplish by setting those goals, because that's really what's gonna, help you to be strong when people come and challenge you, or when people really, start to say that you can't do it. So your why has to be strong. You have to have clarity on where you want to be and who you are, and really, put the effort, like Dr. Cross was saying, is that, have this discipline and have clear, steps that that you're going to go through, even if, some of the steps are going to fall, through the process, because it's not just, a linear direction, but at least have some idea of how you're going to go there, and what are the tools that you have, and what you are missing. And if you know who you are, you know exactly where are your gaps, and you know where to, how to, why to reach out, and how to fill those gaps, bringing somebody else to maybe, help you. And so you really need to know who you are and where you want to be. Right. And I think that's the key thing in all of this. Otherwise, you're just gonna go from one hand to another. Because sometimes, even when you really believe in yourself and you know really what you want, even when people come and tell you that you can't do anything, you're so strong, things are so strong in your mind that, it's actually a stimulus for you to continue and really achieve this goal.
Absolutely.
So you have to work on yourself first.
That's right.
Absolutely. So I love this one, Richard. As you share, I'm going to share this on the screen as you talk, because I want you to address that, but address this as well. If you aim at nothing, you will hit it every single time. Right? Michael Jordan, not Michael Jordan. I think it was, I can't remember. No, it might have been Kobe Bryant that said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Right?
Yeah, I think it's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan said you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that's true. A lot of times, and I'm going to go back to the belief, but a lot of times, we focus so much on the how. So we don't take the step. We don't have to know how it's going to happen. We just have to know this is what we want, and we start working towards it. Whatever you can do right now, do it. That's all it takes. There are things that you will learn in the process. We're not going to know everything. And that's something that I learned over the years. You're never going to learn everything. I even published a book, and then after I published a book, I realized that, something else could have gone into a specific topic. Yeah. But we learn as we go on this process. And to go back to belief, you have to believe in yourself. And the belief builds the confidence. And I can tell you, even though I was a good athlete when I was in high school, I will show up, I will perform. And because I didn't believe in myself, I didn't do well academically. But as soon as I have that shift, things change like 360. So once I start to see some form of success, I start to build into that. I start to nurture that success. And that nurturing helps me to become even more confident. And the more confident I become, the more I go out there and do other things that will challenge me. But, we have to realize once you have a win, you nurture it. You celebrate it. And once you celebrate that win, you will only get, you feel better about yourself. And once you start to feel good about yourself, man, the sky's the limit.
I love that because it grows, right? It's like starting a fire with a small flame, and then you're nurturing it and you're letting it grow until it's a big raging fire, right? And it's empowering you and it's motivating you to move forward. But as we set these goals, I wonder, you sort of touched on something that I'm wondering is a important factor in why we don't achieve our goals, and that is, are we fearful, right? Are we fearful of, number one, failure, and number two, are we fearful that I don't know how to do this? So this sort of boggles my mind, even as I'm saying it a little bit, because I'm kind of like, well, I'm going to set a goal, but if I only set goals on the things I already know how to do, well, what fun is that? How does that make a lot of sense, right? So a part of, I think, setting goals is it requires a little bit of stretching. And as you are stretching, it gets a little scary because you don't exactly know what's on the other side of that bubble when you step outside of your comfort zone. So we've talked a lot on this show about the comfort zone. And are we not setting goals? So Nikki's out there, hey, good morning, says you must believe in yourself and it depends on the people around you to fulfill your goals. You're getting ready to take us down another track now, because this is really important. The people around you. So I do want to talk about that too. So the fear of the goal, are we allowing that to block us and from moving forward because we don't know how to do it? We don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know all the steps to write a book, right? And so you're fearful, and so you're like, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just going to stay in my comfort zone. I have no business doing that. I don't know how to do it. Let me just say, when I started this show, I didn't know how to have this show, right? I had no idea. And honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. And it was only intended to be 6 or 8 weeks or something. And at the end, then, my two amazing co-hosts are like, why are we going to stop this? And I was like, well, I don't even know what I'm doing, right? I'm figuring it out as I go along. So here we are now 3 seasons later. So how does fear play into it? And then touch on what, if any of you, as I come to you, touch on what the comment was, which is it depends on the people around you to fulfill your goals. And I like that. But then there's a part of me that goes, if I'm depending on people around me, then I don't have control, right? So let's sort of start with you on this, Roz.
Well, I know for me, recently, I was given literally handed some business, and I got scared. I froze. I didn't know how to handle it because it was so much, and it was different than how I was accustomed to getting business. And so because I didn't move correctly, I messed up. I messed up big time. And I had to come to the people and tell them, I froze. I got scared. I did, because one of the reasons was I started doubting myself. I started doubting my abilities. I started doubting. It wasn't anybody around me. It was me. And so the people gave it to me saying that I know you could do it, but I didn't put the right things in place to do it. So when we have these expectations and goals, we got to put the right measures or systems in place so that we don't, and if we do freeze, then we may go to accountability partners and say, hey, I need help, or go to somebody and say, I need help. I got this big project. I don't know what in the feezy I'm doing. So, again, partly to what Ms. Diana is saying is that, yes, sometimes some of the people around us can help, but then other times, you know that you have to be in control of it because it's yours. it's yours. And so I was not accountable. So in that one area, I failed. But then I learned from that to say, hey, when you get something like this again, you have to have these measures in place, because you can't do it. No, how to say, no one is an island. No one can stand alone. So I realized that I couldn't stand alone. I realized that I had to have help. I realized that when this type of situation comes again, these are the things I have to have in place, because I got it, but I didn't move forward with it correctly. And how many of us are giving projects or giving things with more accountability, but then we get scared? Am I really ready for it? We start doubting ourselves. Have I been trained correctly? Have I done enough push-ups, sit-ups, and be able to run this race? So that's where, for me, I'm being transparent. That's where I failed in one area, but I learned from it. And now my processes are totally different now with my business within the last 45 days, only because of that one tweet. And then also, too, some of the people around you. Let me say this. I've had to let people go in my circle because I'm going one way and they're going another way. So sometimes people are only in your life for a season, and it's okay. I can love you from a distance. I don't have to talk to you every day for you to be in my life. But at this point in my life, I can't have you pulling me back.
Right.
And I'm trying to go forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's awesome, Roz. And I love, there's a quote that I was reading not too long ago that there is no failure, only feedback. Right. And so everything that doesn't go your way is simply feedback. Okay, well, here's what I need, right? I can make adjustments. I can do these things. So, distinguished voices out there giving us thumbs up. I think he really enjoyed what you were sharing and the transparency, Roz, that you were sharing it with. And so as you move forward and Murray, this fear grips us. So now we got multiple factors happening, right? We got fear happening. And we've got people in our lives who may or may not be supportive of what we think or where we think we're going and why we're going there. So how do we deal with that?
When I was listening to Rose, it starts with you. And I still remember when, I started in the oil and gas industry back, 25 years ago, being, the only Black woman, coming in. I started to find excuses because I was scared, I started to start to find excuses when things were not, going my way. Yes, it's because I'm Black. Yes, it's because I'm a woman. Yes, it's because of this. And then I just realized, I'm here, there's a significance to that. If, God sent me there, is that, I'm here because I can bring value. And as soon as I had this shift and this change of mindset, things started to change drastically. So the environment was the same. I was still challenged. I was still, put in question, not working on the right projects. But because I shifted, I started to, create a different energy and, started to get involved in those key projects and really starting to, take control, take more initiative. Absolutely. And, respond to the challenge, because I was not, a victim anymore, because I came into it as with a victim mentality. But as soon as I realized, I'm in control, whatever people are saying, I have to, keep going. If I have the potential, people have to see this potential. I have to create those values. If I'm not involved in those projects, I have to find those projects or create those projects so that I can keep going and have an impact in this industry. And I think that's sometimes what, the fear paralyzes us. And we're scared of going forward, and we find all kind of excuses to justify the fact that we're scared. And so we really need to understand that we are always in control. We decide the next step for us, and we're gonna make wrong decisions at some point. But it's not the end of the world. We made wrong decision. We review what didn't work, and we try to find out how to take another decision, a better decision, or bring people that we need to help us to go to this next step and get things right, So it's never the end. It's always, you always have the ability to review and to set another, go to another direction, and stop being fearful and paralyzed. Just take the other step. Just do it, like
just do it.
Just do it, and then whatever happen.
Exactly. Just step out there and do it. There's so many great things that really come to mind about that. One of the quotes, of course, is failure isn't final. Right. And sometimes I feel like people think if they fail, I feel like they believe that like if it's one more step and there's just a big black hole. Right. So if I take this step and I fail, I'm going into the abyss. Right. And I'm never going to be seen or heard from again. But failure isn't final. It's just, and then the other quote that comes to mind is from one of my favorite people, Abraham Hicks, who says, you can't get it wrong because you never get it done. Right. We are on a journey. And so, Richard, talk about that journey and why people don't need to necessarily be, as Marae said, paralyzed by that fear. And then the people in your life, if they're supporting you, rah, way to go. If they're not, move them out the way. Sorry, got places to be and things to do.
That's right. When I start reading success stories, right, the people who have achieved greatly, I realize they have failed. What we don't see or hear a lot about are their failures. So we think they're perfect people. We think they don't make mistakes. We think, everything go as they have planned. But the more you realize their journey, you realize that, if you fail on your journey, it's just part of the journey. As Ross said, you learn from the failure and continue. And as Morel said, you don't get paralyzed by your failure because, or say, it's just because I'm not good enough. But if you look at the people who have achieved greatly, they have failed before they get to, where we see and we looked at them as they are, perfect people, but they're not. They have failures too. And, when it comes on to people and your environment and stuff like that, I tell people all the time, it's my goals. And, if I'm not, period, I'm not going to stall what I'm going to please nobody, period. It's either you like it or you don't. I used to hold back, right? On, because I don't want to say I'm outshining people, or I don't want to have someone feel bad because I'm going to discipline myself to do something. I used to, but I realized that I was only holding myself back.
Right.
And the moment I realized that I was holding myself back from doing what I want to do because of how people are going to feel, I stopped that completely. I could care less, because if I don't achieve my goals, I'm going to have to sit with myself.
That's right.
And you don't want to feel bad about the decisions that you didn't make, not because of you, but because you're trying to, appease other people. And for you to live your best life, to make the most impact in this life, we have to do the things that we have in our hearts to do, and that will cause us at times to disassociate ourselves from certain environment, because if the environment is not feeding you, if the environment is not empowering you, how are you going to fulfill that goal, that obligation, that purpose that you're here for? And sometimes the people that can benefit are in those environments, but they don't realize it. So you can't allow those who can't see what you're doing to stop you. You have to decide that, what, as Rhonda said, you have to love some people from a distance. That's just how it is. Because again, you don't want to feel bad about yourself for things that you didn't do that you can do.
Wow.
So, if you can do it and this is what you want to do, you have to do it. Some people will have to just catch up later, and some people take time to see the vision. Some people have to actually see what you're doing before they can believe it, because you already have that vision in your mind. So I'm not going to, I don't think you should stop doing what you already see.
Right.
Some people have to see it physically before they believe it. But when you have dreams, when you have that burning desire to do something and you already see what it can become, what that thing can become, I don't think you should
stop.
let people stop you from pursuing your goal. I will not.
Right.
And that's what I tell myself, because I have to live with myself in the end, at the end of the journey. And, I'm not going to, you don't want to feel bad about yourself, something that you didn't do. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it's interesting to me also. So Nikki says, well, the reason I say it depends on people around is if they're scared of the waves through the process of getting to your goal, they may let you down. But if strong to stand in the storm, then they can help you. Yeah, you've got those people that are going to help you and those people that are going to try to pull you back. And then Regina's out there. She's like, preach, Dr. Cross. Yes. So as we think about this, I think that may be one of the reasons our goals fail sometimes, because we set goals based on what we believe others expect of us and want us to do. And we do that because we have a fear of judgment, right? And because, gosh, what are they going to say? If I don't do this, I'm not a good daughter. If I don't say this, I'm not a good sister. If I don't do this, I'm not a good leader. If I don't do this, I'm not a good whatever. Right. And so we create this world in our own mind, is what we like to call the stories we tell ourselves, that if I don't do X, which is expected of me, then somehow I'm less than, then somehow I am not worthy. And that we have to release. Right. We absolutely have to release that, because is that person, if they can't see you for who you are and what you are and the value that you bring forward, then is it worth you investing all of your time and energy and caring about what they think? Right? I don't really see it. Right? You've got to care enough about you. And as you said, Richard, how you feel and what's important to you, to let that drive you. Everything else will come along. Or maybe not. Maybe they will never agree with what you're doing and always think you're crazy. Roz?
But you know what, though, Rhonda, I'm a tagging on what everybody else been saying. I used to call, and they call it, I used to dummy down my credentials. I used to, when I would apply for a job, I would never say I had 2 masters. I would only say I had a high school diploma, because, a lot of times where I was applying, I didn't want them to say, oh, she knows all of this. So I devalued myself. I devalued myself because, like you said, there was somebody there that probably needed me in another area, but because I dummied down, they put me in this other area when I should have been over here impacting someone. So, like you said, it's our fault. It's our fault that we do that, because we were living through someone else's eyes of us, other people's expectations. But I did that for a long time because I was worried, what are people going to say about me because Roz is outspoken? What is people going to say about Roz because she has all these credentials? Are they going to treat me different? Am I going to be ostracized? Am I going to be judged? Am I going to be rejected? All of that was going on. So for me to avoid that, all that talking and all that hearsay, I just dummy down and fit in to get in. That's what I did. So I wanted to bring that up because a lot of us have done that.
I love that. Yeah, most of us have done that. And because of that fear and that, they say that everyone wants to feel like they're part of a community, right? Everyone wants to, one of the greatest human senses that's innate in us is to feel a sense of belonging somewhere. Right? With someone, some group we want to be able to identify with and connect to. So I think that's a really important point, Roz, that you bring, is that we've got to do that. So we are about 1/4 to the hour. So I want to shift our conversation a little bit, and let's really start to focus on some solutions for folks out there who might be having difficulty selling. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the Coffee with Rhonda show. We're talking about goals. And, why so many of us don't achieve our goals, and how can we get better with this? How can we do better with our goals? One of the most important things I think about when setting goals and moving them forward is being clear about your goal, right? So many of us are not clear. oh, I think I want to do this. Well, what does that mean? Right? What does that mean? What does it look like? What's it, even me, I love the time frame. It doesn't have to be now, and I will move it if I need to, right? But I need to be clear about what it is I'm trying to do, because there's a thing in your mind with clarity. It gives you something to hold on to. Right? When you're not clear, it feels all loosey goosey and you're all over the place. And, somebody says, well, you know what? Let's take this one because this is common. I just want to earn enough to be comfortable. Well, what the heck does that mean? How in the world do you define comfortable? And comfortable for me and comfortable for you.
It's different.
Very, very different. Being clear about your goals. And being able to visualize them. So this might be a really good time. I'm going to play 1 minute of the segment. You all know Mel Robbins, right? Mm-hmm. She is one of the people that have become a master motivator, and she does it grounded in science and research, which is what I love. Well, she's got this one little piece. I'm only going to play about a minute of it, and if you guys want the rest of the video, I'm happy to share that in the comments. But I actually really loved this portion of this video that she did when she talked about achieving goals. So I'll play just a little bit of it.
And so day one, I want you to go through all the goals that you set. And I want you every single day throughout the next 30 days, you're going to spend 30 seconds. Your dreams deserve 30 seconds, don't you think? You're going to close your eyes and you're going to visualize, what does it look like in your life when you have achieved your monetary goals this year? How does it feel to go to the bank and see that balance? How does it feel to be able to write that check and take your kids to Disney World on money that you made? How does it feel to be able to rent your own place or put down a down payment for the house you've always dreamt of? How does it feel to be able to have saved enough money so you can quit the job that you hate and launch the business because you have achieved your goals? It feels darn good. That's how it feels. And I want you to just savor that, because what you're doing when you visualize is you're reprogramming your reticular activating system, that system of neurons, that network that acts like a filter in your brain so that it's spotting opportunity, so that it is helping you see evidence that you are confident, that you are capable, that you can do this, instead of all the garbage you think right now.
Wow. When I heard that, I thought, this process of reprogramming is a powerful one. So I'm going to just ask all of you, what are some strategies, things that people can do to begin to reprogram and get themselves on the track of consistently achieving the goals that they set? So Roz, let's start with you. I love that video by Mel, and it's a longer video, and she's got a lot more discussion in there about the reticular activating system, which is our internal brain filter system. So, how do we start to reprogram so we can be more successful in achieving our goals?
For me, personally, just for me, I'm just only talking for me. I've started in the last 6 months, 8 months doing affirmations, which is part of what she was talking about. Then I had to sit down and assess my personal self. Where are my gaps? Where am I running short? So wherever those gaps are, do I need a coach? Do I need an assistant? Where do I need help, so that as I am, reprogramming my mind, now I can really focus on, what I need to accomplish, because I can't create in chaos. I can't do it. I know that if things aren't, in somewhat order for me, and this is me, some people can create in chaos. God knows, God bless you. I can't. It runs me crazy. Like I said, if I would show y'all this room, it's running me crazy because I got stuff everywhere. But the rest of the house is fine. But my office is like, I got to get order. So for me, part of it, I have to look at my spiritual part. I have to look at my, everything around me to say, okay, I got to bring it all together as much as I can. I'm not successful every day. I slip. But I know for me, just to set my grounds in the morning, I get up early in the morning. I do my affirmations. I pray. I get up and spend time with me.
Uh-oh. Roz?
I invest in me because again, like Cordelia said about 2 weeks ago, I can't give from overwhelmed. I can only give from overflow. So if I'm confused, if I'm upset, then it doesn't help anybody else. Nobody on my team, my employees, nothing is going to go right because I am the head. Now we're gonna make mistakes, but when I get myself grounded and when I miss that, my whole day is funky. I can tell you that. But if when I'm consistent and if I have sown enough of those affirmations, sown those seeds, even on a bad day, I still can balance out. You have to sow those seeds into you. You have to invest so that when those days do come, you can still, you can still make it through the day. So that's what I've done for me. And then also too, I talk about the people I read, I do something, but there's some things that I do daily. To make sure that, hopefully I'm going on the right road. Now I'm not going to be perfect, but that's what I do.
Awesome. Thank you, Roz. That's really wonderful, really setting the tone and the intention. So Maria joined us. She said, hello, Maria. How are you? Great to see you out there this morning. Regina said reprogramming meditation, maybe for a short time daily would be probably a good thing. And then Maria said, yep, that first 15 minutes of the day sets the tone. It really can be everything when you set an intention for the day. So Marae, what thoughts do you have for folks? How do people begin to reprogram themselves so that they can be more consistent in achieving their goals?
Well, one thing that really worked for me is to write those goals down. Write those goals down and prioritize them, because sometimes we put all these goals and we don't really know where to start. So we have to really having a ranking helped me a lot, so that I know what kind of energy I have to put in each single goal, and have those even if we talked about the time frame, but have some type of milestone where you can review where you are, because that's important. It's one thing to set those goals, but it's another thing to really check that you're going in the right direction, even if things especially with the type of life that we have right now, it's very busy. So writing down things, have things very visual, have them ranked, and read them every day, 3 or 4 times per day, and really think about those goals all the time, so that you don't drift. Because that's the problem sometimes. It's the beginning of the year, we all set those goals, and then we put them in the cupboard, and that's it. And at the end of the year, we realize, we've not done half of them, and it's gone. The year is gone. So we have to write them down. Really get I would say intimate with them, because they have to become something that you think about, every day, every time, and really guiding you. And so, other people are going to do affirmations or meditation. For me, it's really write it down, be able to see it. And you also have, the vision board, which is maybe sometime for a long time, but writing down is more short term, and then you can do it all the time, and you can rectify things easily, so that you be able. But I think the key thing that's important is to be able to review those goals, at some point, because setting goals is not the big deal. It's really making sure that, you're really traveling well and you're going in the right direction to accomplish those goals. And that's the key thing for me.
So Marae, you are right on with me. I find, it's interesting. I find that sometimes I will avoid all right, now being transparent here. Sometimes I will avoid writing down the goal because I'm thinking, do I really want to do this? Is this something I'm really going to commit to? You know, I've got all of this waffle going on, and so I won't write it down. I'm like, yeah, kind of a goal, kind of in the back of my mind. So I basically left myself an out, but I do know that when I really want to accomplish something, I absolutely have to write it down, and I have to be consistent. So I'm going to give you all a life hack, a goal hack really quickly on building on what Marae said, and then Richard, we're going to come to you. So if you want to write down your goals, you want to get more consistent with progress, I want you to take a dry erase marker, and I want you to write today's goal, not the big long-term goal like I want to climb Mount Everest, just the goal of I want to walk around the block for 10 minutes, right? The short-term goal that you're going to accomplish today that is in support of that larger goal, take a dry erase marker and write it on your mirror. Today's goal. Okay, write it on your mirror because you see it all the time. It's out there. It reminds you if you get distracted, if your day's busy, then when you find yourself, you'll see it. You're like, oh yeah, that's right. You know, I need to make sure that by the end of the day, I accomplish that. So that's just a quick little thing. And then Maria says, crucial thing is clean up your circle of friends of influence because being among naysayers and mediocrity will never help you achieve your goal. Just saying. Absolutely, Maria. So
yeah, some people have a date of expiration, so you have to make sure you check those dates.
Wait a minute. So, right, like we go shopping and check the milk expiration date, right? We're checking the expiration date of people in our circle. All right, y'all heard it straight from Marae. Check the expiration date. So, all right. So, Richard, tell us, things that you would recommend people do to reprogram themselves and move their goals forward. And then, as this is our last round, also tell people, if they want to learn more about what you do or how they can connect with you or whatever.
Okay. For me, I start writing down the goals, but I listen to motivational videos and affirmations like every day. Very intentional because I do write every day. So, and writing is a part of my goal because I do write books and I do motivation and I do teach. So I stay plugged into the information that is going to keep me motivated, going to keep me on focus. They're going to keep me empowered. So for me, I know what I want, and I think I'm like real set right now in regards to what I want to accomplish. So I know what I'm going to do every single day. Well, not everything, but I know there are a few things that I will do every single day because I write every day, I read every day, and I exercise every day. I don't change from those, and those things are aligned with what I want to accomplish. So it's to have that clarity, as Rhonda said, know what you want, because once you know what you want, it makes it easier to align yourself with what will help you to achieve those goals. So you want to know the goal. And read things and listen to things that will help you to stay empowered to achieve the goal that you have. And the last part of what were you saying again?
Oh, yeah. So the last part is tell people how they can connect with you if they want to learn more about the work that you're doing.
Okay. They can connect with me on Facebook, Richard A. Cross. They can also connect with me on LinkedIn, Richard A. Cross as well. And I'm also on Instagram, which is Master Empowermentor. So, those are places that they can connect with me if they want to learn more about what I do, because I do empowerment. My focus right now is mostly on Black men and Black male students, because that's one of the things that I do in college. My goal is to empower Black male students to break those preconceived barriers. They told us that what we can't do. So I'm there now to let the Black male students especially know it's not about the opinions of others. It's what you decide that you want to accomplish, because innately we have the ability. So it doesn't matter what society says. It doesn't matter those falsifications. It doesn't matter what they have told us. Innately we have the ability. And that's what, I'm here to remind people in a whole, and especially our Black male students.
I love that. Thank you so much. And if you guys go onto LinkedIn, he posts some really encouraging and motivational, quotes. I see those coming across all the time. And I'm always so inspired, especially when understanding how much you write. I love to write. I wrote a book this year. I wrote an ebook in 3 weeks, which has probably been a record for me to write an ebook because I was so passionate that I needed to get this information out. And so I wrote that book, and then I was like, whew, I'll probably never do that again. But now I'm talking to you, maybe I need to do every other month.
It's possible. Once you've done it once, you can do it again. And that's what I did when I write the 8 books. I did the first one, and I said, maybe I can do the second one. Although I have eight books on my for my goals this year, because I didn't know that I was going to do it 8, consecutively back to back. And then I did the second one. I said, and I did the third one, and I did it in a shorter time. So I said, maybe I can do it. I just continue. And when I reached 8, I said, you know what? I'm going to take a little break and maybe do 2 more before the year finishes. So I'll see how it goes.
All right. Awesome. Very cool.
That's
So
fantastic.
I want to just wrap up with, the strategy that I would give people is a strategy that I like to call CLASS in terms of moving your goals forward. The CLASS, the CLA is for clarity. And we talked about this a little bit. If you don't know where you're going, then you're likely to not get there, right? So you got to figure out where you're going. What's this goal? What am I trying to accomplish? And don't forget to tap into your why through that process, because I look at your why as your source of fuel and motivation. If your why is based on what somebody else expects, you're going to run out of gas pretty quickly. But if your why is really based on something that's important to you deep down, you end up with an endless renewable resource there to continue to power your journey. So that's the CLA in CLASS. The 2 S's in CLASS. The first S in CLASS is about shifting your identity. So whatever this is that you say you're trying to do, who do you need to become to do that, right? And what I mean by that is what shift needs to take place in you in order to make this happen. If I set a goal that I want to lose 50 pounds, but I don't say to myself that I am a healthy eater, I am a person who enjoys working out, if I don't shift the identity of who I am, my likelihood of achieving that goal diminishes, right? Because now I've created a big, huge disconnect in who I really am and this goal that I set, and the brain will try to protect you from that. It does a lot of things. One of its primary functions is protecting. And then the last S is shifting your behavior, right? So you've got to be clear on your goals. You've got to create a shift in your identity, and then you've got to shift your behavior. And as you're focusing on moving towards your goals, focus on the behavior. Don't focus so much on the big outcome that you're trying to achieve. Like Richard, the goal is to write 8 books, but that's not what he focuses on every day. Every day he focuses on writing. That's the behavior that will get you to the long-term goal, right? So you don't need to think about climbing Mount Everest every day. My goodness, that would be overwhelming. Just simply focus on the little things that you need to do, the behaviors every day. And so that's a strategy that I call CLASS, CLASS. So we're going to wrap up now, guys. The hour goes so quickly. I enjoyed. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And Maria said that she loves the date of expiration. Absolutely. Stamp everybody and stamp it right on their foreheads, Maria. So that way when it expires, you won't miss it. So as we wrap up for today, we are always excited that you allow us to spend a little bit of time with you on your day and your Saturday, whether that's the day or night. So the journey to stress-free and loving me is deeply personal, but it is very achievable. You get to decide, you get to choose. So we thank you for allowing us to come in and helping you discover, we get ready to get the post-production shot. Gotta hold it up. Gotta get a big smile. Cheese. Awesome. That'll be our post-production. Thank you, Roz, for reminding me. So thank you for allowing us to help you see the possibilities in leading and living and loving stress-free. For my panel, stay tuned for a moment. For everybody else out there, we love you guys. We'll see you back here next week. Same time, same station.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Coffee with Rhonda show. Don't forget you can download a free ebook at stressfreeleaders.com. And don't forget to share this podcast or video with someone in your life who might find value. Until next time.